Det har varit lugnt i helgen.
Oh, hello, welcome to Board Games with Niramas. I'm Joseph. I'm here with Drako and with Mats.
Hi everyone.
I'm sorry, Mats, I didn't really say when the stream was going to start. But here we are.
No, I was surprised. But anyway.
Yeah.
I'm such a pro, I can handle it.
Oh, yeah, no problem. And the viewers can handle a little bit of Swedish as well. So, I hope everyone is doing good out there. We're back for Game of the Week. Funky time because Mats, are you going to play games tonight or you were busy later?
Yeah, but that got cancelled, so...
Oh, so we're early for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But
that's great.
Anyways.
Yeah.
You set the time already, so I didn't bother.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And actually, it's just basically Sunday evenings is my goal. Then I realize that not every week it's going to have to, be 8 p.m. Most people watch it afterwards anyway, but it's always fun if people can watch it live, obviously. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So anyway, Great Western Trail. This is...
Great game. Great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, game. That's it. So, yeah, thank you for watching.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. That was fun.
No, but it's funny because this is a game that has been around, well, since 2016. And it's one of those games, like, I have a few games that are, like, been with me so long that they were, like, I can remember them from, like, several gaming groups. So I play this, like, I don't have to say this. I played this back when I was way more new to board games than I am now. And I was also very, in some ways, not more excited about board games, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Like when it was like super cool, everything was super cool and exciting. And this really feels like a classic, like the experience of playing this, especially in the first times. It felt a lot to me like when I was a kid. Like a classic board game in the sense, well, I can build these buildings that, you have to pay for them when you walk by. And I have my cars, it's a bit of a race. There's a lot of parts of this game that are, I don't know, it feels like a modern board game.
Oh, yeah.
But it also feels like a classic board game, like a classic get-together, family-style, sit around the table playing, right?
Yeah, but I think it's two ways of playing this game. I think either you play it competitive, I mean, like really going hardcore for playing it, or you play it more like a casual family style way. I mean, the game in itself, I think it's really, I wouldn't say broad. I play it more not as a super competitive game. I always want to win, of course.
Well, you're a pro
playing games.
So that's
no, I'm not. But I do like to play this game, and I think it's one of my favorite games of all time. So I do like to play it in all ways, but I prefer playing it more as a sort of casual gaming group than a competitive gaming group.
Okay, yeah.
So it depends a little bit, but I can play both ways. We played last week. We played the second edition the first time in the group. And that's a very competitive group. So that was fun. And we haven't played together we played online a few times, but we haven't played it in a long time. It was really fun getting the second edition to the table with the changes that are made and the sort of modules that you can add to the game. Module, I would say, not modules, but one module.
Yeah, we're going to get into the second edition soon as well. Bernie is here. He's saying that he is soon going to steka torsk, which is frying... a
cod.
Cod, yeah, in English. And then Hissycat Studio says hello from sunny San Diego. I'm not jealous at all. It's not like we have a lot of snow.
We have snow here right now, so it's not so nice. Windy, snowy, and cold. So,
can you not dump your table, Matt?
Sorry.
My audio nerves get hit. Okay, anyway, so the game came out in 2016, designed by Alexander Pfister. One of, these days at least, one of the most famous game designers. I think back then I didn't really recognize him. I think he had already made Puerto Rico. Not Puerto Rico. Is it Puerto Rico? Port Royal.
Oh,
Port Royal is
Port
one.
Royal.
Yeah, of course. Port Royal. And of course, Isle of Skye was a good game. Was a game I liked already back then. Oh my goods! Mombasa is a game that a lot of people like, but I never got into that one.
I haven't tried that one, but I think because due to the theme, I think the theme is a big question mark right there in that game. So, but the mechanics seem solid enough. I think same thing for Great Western Trail has also been that theme has been an issue, right, or a question mark. But I mean,
it's a lot of individual preferences, I think, because for me, I never really felt like that way. But I'm not in the target group of perhaps having an issue with the Western theme as well. So
I think it was more for the sort of the Indians or the tribes in the previous version that they changed now and these kind of things. So maybe not a big thing, but
yeah. And I must say, like, I mean, we don't discuss that too much, but since you brought it up, like, I actually felt like I liked that in the new edition because, like, it didn't add anything. I mean, the game is not about Native Americans and their history or anything like that. No. So it was just like this pasted on Hollywood. Oh, here's some wild people that can hurt you. Like, I didn't like. I mean, when I think about it that way, just have outlaws. We're cattlers, right? So having cattle thieves just makes sense. Like, they had
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So anyway, so then he did, of course, Blackout Hong Kong. Maybe is one of the big ones here. Expedition to New Dale, Maracaibo, one of your favorite games as well.
Yeah,
and Cloud Age and Boone Lake here lately as well. So I mean, he has a good resume. Now, for me, this is like when I think about Alexander Pfister, I think about Great Western Trail.
Yeah,
like this is his opus magnum or whatever it's called.
But this is his crown jewel, right?
Yeah.
Up until now, I mean, let's see what happens. He's still young, I think. So.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, few good games in him.
Hopefully, he's around a bit more. And then publisher here the main publisher is Eggerspiel, which I don't know that much about, to be honest.
No, but it
is a German publisher.
And they also released the second edition, right? So
they did. And the thing was, I think they were like the only one that says, okay, let's just jump over right away then to the second edition here. Because here it says Eggerspiel and 3 more. Wait, how did I get?
Plan B. Oh yeah, they connected. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's probably in some other regions, right?
Yeah. So, I don't know what Eggerspiel has done other than that. I don't feel like I know them, like they have a profile or style of games that I recognize or anything like that. But
I just remember when we went to Essen, I think it was it 2018, right?
Yeah.
When Andreas was going along and he was going to pick up the Rails to North expansion because that was released at Essen that year.
Oh yeah.
And it was sold out right away, and that's why I recognized the Eggerspiele booth or the logo, but I don't have any connection to the publisher otherwise, so I don't know.
And then, as you mentioned, there was an expansion, and that, let's see, there's some promo stuff, but there's only one main expansion, which is Railways to the North.
Yeah,
and I do remember that as well. That Andreas, our friend there, was very keen to pick that up when we were there, and I think I did as well. At least I have made a video of it. I don't remember if it was his copy maybe, but I really like the expansion. If we're just gonna mention that real quick, it got a really good score on Board Game Geek as well, 8.5.
Yeah, I'm a bit. I mean, I think the standard game is so good that you don't really need an expansion to it. So, I mean, of course, it adds something to the game. It doesn't make the game worse or anything. It's just that I don't think it adds anything particular in the game. I think it's nice as it is, so it doesn't really need anything. But
I thought it was really cool. I mean, I always like more stuff, right, for games. So
I think it's like, when you have sort of the Turmoil expansion for Terraforming Mars, or you have some other expansions to games where, okay, it's nice, but it's not needed to play, I think.
I agree on that.
Expansions that it's not needed.
Yeah.
I don't mind playing with it, but it's just that I don't really need it. So.
And then, of course, the new thing here, which is 2021, and it's basically just arrived in Sweden, at least, or I think in retail large, was the second edition, which has its own page and everything. And I think it even has one 0.1 better rating so far, but I guess fewer ratings, of course.
Yeah, I think it was released at Essen last year.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah,
and then I think this is the probably was supposed to be released last year, but at Essen, but it probably got delayed like so many other things.
Yeah.
In shipping, etc. Because they're going to release now the second. There's a new trilogy released here, so this is the first one of 3 games.
Yeah, and I guess let's just dive into this second edition, talk about it. So this is my unboxing running here, background that I just did there, and of course you played it as well. So it has a few changes, I would say. Like I got right into it. Like when I played it this morning, I felt like it is great for Centrail. Like it, and of course now you can play it solo, which is really cool. That's what I did here. So I mean, you could play it solo as a fan-made version, from what I understand, right?
There's been 2 versions available on Board Game Geek that I know of, at least. And I played them both, and I think the solo mode in this version here is inspired by the one called Garth.
It even says in the rule book, which I think that is really cool. That's the general idea that if someone, I mean, you done this for some board games as well. You created solo modes for and to have that turn into an actual solo mode, that is really cool. I mean, imagine you got that with like Crystal Palace or something, right?
That would be awesome. Yeah. But I think the thing here that was pretty fun. I read a comment or a discussion between the creator of the solo mode, Garth, and Alexander Pfister. He said he's been trying to make something better, but I think he's happy with how the Garth works. So they made some minor adjustments and tweaks to it. But basically, it's that fan-made version from Board Game Geek that made it into the second edition of the game, which is pretty fun. Yeah,
I think that's cool, and it's one of those solo modes where it's you have a deck of cards, and it's like an automa deck, and you pull up a card, and it says what the opponent will be doing. And it's very smooth because the opponent doesn't have like cards or money, and in some ways, I'd say it's it feels a little bit similar to the one in Boon Lake that I recently made a solo playthrough video of, but I prefer this one a lot. I really like this solo version. I was really impressed when I played this morning. That was so good.
I agree. I mean, it's very easy. I think it's just the first time you see the cards and understand the action and how to think when you do them. You don't have to spend too much energy or thinking on operating the automa. So it's just flipping the card, doing what it says, and then you can focus on your turn, which I think that's the key element for a bot or an automa, that you shouldn't take too much of your brain capacity for your moves. So you focus on the wrong things.
I was a little like it took me 10 minutes to get into the iconography, because it has this star a lot of times, which means like what is their priority. And sometimes it was like, well, they will move as many spaces as they have their priority worker. And there were a few times, and I think the rulebook was a little bit vague on something. Like the rulebook didn't mention at all that sometimes they don't do anything. Like, okay, a black X is probably nothing, right? But I still had to look it up. Like, does it really mean that? That's like too good to be true, because my guy iced on the trains. So there were a few times, like 2 cards, I think, where they didn't do anything.
No, I mean, that can happen, right? Because if they're not in that focus theme, or I mean the focused strategy, then they won't do anything. So, which is, I agree, it's weird, but it's also, I think it makes sense in some way that is actually is that way. So.
And it was interesting, and I only played once, but it was interesting because my main complaint with the Boon Lake automa, if we're going to compare those, and maybe a little bit with Maracaibo as well, is that like I feel stressed when I played, because the bot is like rushing the game end, like rushing towards the game end, which I know we have discussed this in other places, and I know that you don't mind it as much as I do, but like for me, I will never play Boon Lake solo again, like just for fun. And I'll never get back to that. But this one, I can imagine just playing any day, because it was so much fun. And I never felt stressed. Like I won 108 to 93 on normal difficulty level. And I got to like run my train really far. I got to get all the cows I wanted. I got to like I never felt stressed in the game. I felt like I even feel more stressed in a normal 2-player game because then this guy, he was like walking 1 or 2 spaces a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I built like a bunch of buildings as well, so I kept him like going slowly,
Yeah, you can influence that by building buildings because that would slow him down a little bit too. So
this is really one of those games where I like to take it slow, like do a lot of stuff. I'm not rushing to, and that's why when we talked about playing with different groups, for me this game can be super boring. Like if you play with people that just try to, the first thing they unlock is the movement speed, and then they just rush through. Like what's the fun? Like, I want to experience the game. I don't mind if it's like 90 minutes or 2 hours.
Right. So. I think when the thing is that you can do, if you're really good and get your buildings out, you can basically walk the whole path in just basically one go when you have maximum movement.
What's the fun in that? You want to like I go like 2 buildings, I do something, buy some cows, I'll go a building, get some money.
That's a little bit what I said in the beginning. I think the competitive mode is a very different way of playing it as a casual game. So yeah.
And also I thought it was really cool because first I was thinking the buildings that had this hand on them, so we have to pay with like tax buildings, I think they're called. At first I was thinking, well, like there's like if you play against the other players, like human players, you always try to like, I know at some point I will have to go buy your building, right? But at that point I want to be out of money, so I don't have to pay.
Yeah.
The nice thing with the Sam, as he's called, the Toma, is that he always pays. Like, you always get the money from the bank. So building those buildings felt even more important now, or better now, than they do against human players.
Yeah, because he will always pick the shortest route from where he stands to the place he's going to, right? So you can always hopefully get that going if you place the hazards, or you can steer him a little bit more into those buildings so you get that money, which is good.
Yeah, and I think I got a bit lucky as well because there was a lot of hazard tiles out, so that made it longer for him to take that route. Instead, he had to go by my buildings.
Yeah.
I also like that.
I mean, that's something you have to utilize, right? If that's what happens in the game, you have to utilize that to get the cash.
I like a small detail, but I like that they put a little tree on the spaces that counts as part of being in the tree thing.
Mm-hmm.
Before you had to just guess, like, you had to look at the artwork, but now it's actually very clear there.
Exactly. You won't see that when you have the building there, though. But
that's
true.
At least
that they should have put it on the side of that, so they knew.
Oh yeah,
that's true. I mean, at least now you know it when you place it.
Yeah.
And then
And speaking of small changes, one change I didn't like, and I think you said the same here beforehand, is they switched up the colors of the workers and the engineers.
Yeah.
And that's just strange. Like, I like that they have like a lady in there, like they trying to diversify a little bit more. But why switch up the colors? Like, it was multiple times that because I probably played Great Western Trail lots. I mean, I played it like 30, 40 times, but it's been a while. But it still was in the back of my mind, like, this is a worker. Oh, no, this is the engineer. I had to like...
Yeah. No, but I think that's, especially when you're just looking, if you played a lot, the old version, and then you play the new version, you just sort of look at the tiles and you see, okay, there's a purple. Icon.
You have to look at the little hat and stuff.
Yeah, you have to look actually closer now, and then you have to reset. But that's probably like new shoes, right? It's a bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but once you get used to them, they will be okay.
I just don't understand the reason for it. Like,
I mean, that's a whole different thing. But I mean, for me, that's also super weird. And since you're pointing now at the insert as well, I don't know how they thought when they designed this insert. I was happy when I saw it. It's like, yeah, cool, this is an insert. But when you're putting stuff in, nah.
I could actually close the box though, like a flush lid with that. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, but you want to put,
I have everything in the bags.
In a bag, yeah. And
I have it in the bags, and then I just flatten it out.
Okay. Yeah.
So like I have the bags, but not in the place where the bag's supposed to be. I have it on top, but really flat, sort of, and then it works. And yeah, so I just felt like this was almost the deluxe version. In some ways, like I mean, double layered boards. I'll just pull up my video here of the actual
of the old version.
The old version with the expansion. Double layer board was nice. Double layer board on the solo, that felt like luxury as well. You didn't need to do that.
No, but I think one thing coming to the negative aspect, I won't be. I mean, you have more production issues. I have.
Yeah.
It's like that player tile you put in.
Oh yeah, when you only play 2 or solo, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a fine double layer, but then you put a normal cardboard.
So
on
they
top
could have just, made that whole space. You can put that one in, and then you. But anyways, it's more details. But
yeah, there's more detail. Yeah. Bernie is saying here he has the second edition. It's true. Yeah, exactly. It has spaces for the worker tiles.
Yeah.
But then you want to have them in the bags anyway, because there's no reason to have them separate.
Yeah.
But it actually works. Like I made it work this morning when I packed it up. So if you just flatten them out, the bags, you can make it work.
Yeah, but I also want to put if all the player stuff, the deck, the wooden tokens,
you would
in one bag. So if we're 3 players, I just toss them each a set, right? And you can't really fit that into the insert. That's basically my main concern here. Is that
I don't have my card sleeved as well, because I don't have that funky side sleeves at home.
Okay, I took from my old game, so I had actually a few extra, which was nice because there's a new cow as well in this game. So you need a few more sleeves, but I just unsleeved my old.
But then it didn't fit right, because it just fits barely with the unsleeved card.
I don't know. I removed actually the insert. So.
Okay, yeah.
Because it didn't fit with how I want the game.
Yeah.
When you set it up, I just went, okay, here's your player pieces.
Oh yeah.
Set up.
Yeah, well, you play more multiplayer than I do as well.
Yeah.
So. Okay, so the last thing we need to mention about the expansion is the actual new stuff, which is the new cows.
Yeah. And also, you should mention we can do this quickly because it's the exchange tokens that you get.
Also, they were in the expansion, yeah.
Yeah. But now they're part of the standard game. So at the beginning, you get 1 exchange token, which means you can, for free, you can exchange that token to draw 2 and discard 2, just to cycle your hand.
Really good token, a really good addition, I think.
I mean, I think it's crucial, especially.
You can get stuck sometimes, like, I don't have the correct hand to go into.
And you don't want to, if you fall too behind in the beginning, then it's I think it's really good that you can use that as you. Directly from the start, so you don't have to collect it first or something.
So Gabby is asking here, is it mainly language independent?
Oh yeah,
it's totally language independent. I don't think there's no text anywhere.
No. No, there's nothing.
So you can get it in French and get the English PDF or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. But there's no. Only the name of the cows, I think, is.
I guess.
But that's the only thing.
I never used those anyway. I thought that was annoying in the rule book. It doesn't refer to the cows as a white or a cow and so on, or a green cow.
They use the name?
They use the actual name, and I'm like, wait, which one is that? But I like that they do that. I mean, it's more thematic, right? But okay, so the new cow. I think I managed to get buy 2 of them in my first solo play, and I got them both to level 5.
Wow,
and I had at the end of the game, I had 18, 19, 20 constantly when I was delivering. So it was almost too easy. They were so good. I had a constant habit of 5 basically of them. I thought they were really cool. I just like the idea of them upgrading. It's an investment in the beginning, but then it pays off in the long run. It's even good in the beginning because it's a new color that you don't have already.
Oh, exactly. So I mean, it's really good. Especially makes instead of increasing your walk speed. I don't know how to say it.
Oh yeah, I always go for deck. Yeah, I always go for 2 more cards first.
Because now it's actually increasing your hand size has a bigger value if you have that cow, because it actually allows you to get.
I love having 6 cards. I think that for me that is so important. I'm not in a rush, as I said. So I don't.
It depends a little bit. I mean, if because you have to pay money, right? So. It can actually,
it's expensive.
For economy, it's really expensive to open up your hand size early.
And so overall, I just like the second edition. I would never go back to playing the first one now. There's no reason.
I mean, it's like we said. I think we get used to the whole. I think one of the things that made most sense is also the sort of the robbers, like you say. I think that's perfect switch. I like the adding of the new cow. I like the exchange token. And also that they changed one of the key locations we see here, where you have the buy stuff square. That's moved 1 space to the left now. If you see behind us here on the big screen, because that was also a critical space.
But they are randomized anyway.
No, but but that's what I mean. Now you place the sort of in the setup.
Oh, now I see what you're saying.
To the left
yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you might take that D route.
Yeah, because I mean, the likelihood that buildings, stuff, or cows ended up in this space was pretty high, right?
Yeah.
And then you need it, and if you get the tax building right before that, everybody had to tax you, so it was a bit too strong, actually.
That's interesting. That's like high level strategy. So
I think that's good.
Have you seen the sort of new show? I think it's new. The 1883 or Yellowstone, for that matter, with Kevin Costner.
No, I haven't seen that one. No,
because like Yellowstone takes place now. I just started watching it, and then 1883 is like their family back in 1883.
Oh, okay, cool.
And they are actually like cattle ranchers, basically, and it's very good show. I can really recommend you to check it out. It's like super. It feels super realistic, or like
okay, cool. I need to.
It's very grim and like, and it's this whole feeling. I really like that. I think that is a really cool thing when they like they ride into with their cattle and they ride into this like unknown land, basically. Yeah. Which is a little bit, I think, overblown, because I think by 1883 you could take the train to the West Coast. It's just that you couldn't bring the cows, so they were still running the cows as cowboys.
Yeah.
I thought about that show when I was playing this now, because like basically, I mean, just the fact that you could have
cowboy vibes.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of things coming up in that show, obviously, but just like there's this, a big storm or something, and the cattle get spread out, and people get sick, and it was really rough. I mean, in real life, this ride, it feels really smooth in Great Western Trail. You just move your little pawn, but it was a really, really terrible, I think, job to have.
I think it was pretty tough. I mean, being a cattle herder back in the days, right? Warm in desert, driving the cattle, always the threat of being attacked, stealing your cows, which was high value. So it wasn't for the weak-hearted, I think.
Oh, forgot to mention the best improvement with the second edition. I just realized when I looked at the player pawns here.
Oh, you mean the hats?
The hats. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, I'm weak for this kind of, there we go, player pieces, right? This is so cool. Whoever came up with this idea and actually made it happen, like little plastic hats on the meeples, I think player colors, that is just so cool.
That's really cool.
It's actually, it actually also, I don't know, it's such a small detail, but it feels more thematic just by that. Yeah,
exactly. But I mean, the old pawn was also a cowboy, right?
Yeah, they had hats in.
But I mean, this is more charming, I would say. It doesn't, but it's like just one of those good things about that you added in the game instead of making it worse like before.
Yeah.
I also think if we have a graphic layout of the new board, we can talk a little bit about that, because it changed some other stuff on the game board as well. And one of those things is the locations, right, that you ship to. So before it was San Francisco, farthest to the right. Now it's New York, so it goes east.
It goes the other way now.
Yeah. And they also made some big changes on the bonuses here along the track where you deliver to the discs. Not trigger in between is very different. And one of the key elements for the competitive version is the Kansas City place where you get one less money and one more minus point instead when delivering to Kansas City compared to the old version.
Oh wait, so it's more punishing now?
Yeah. So it's less rewarding and more punishing to go that. But on the other hand, they removed the minus points for delivering to the link between the second and the third one as well.
Oh yeah. So, because I did that as my first action this morning when I played solo. Because I think that's a good thing. Like you get some extra money there early.
Oh yeah. Usually before you would depending on your strategy, but you always wanted to go there at least twice just to get the money.
Yeah.
And then, but maybe even 3 times. But now it's not as rewarding as it was before. So it's probably going to change a little bit, even the sort of more competitive gameplay of this game.
Because you played this online as well, right? During the pandemic as well. Is it you cut out, or was it?
I stopped it because I think one of the key things in this game is overview of what other people are doing. And I sort of didn't really. I hate scrolling in the sort of log. So I just got like, no, I'm not going to play this online because it killed what I like about this game is the interaction. And you still have that, of course, online, but it's not the same thing when you're sitting around the table and you're talking a little bit, trashing and saying, hey, I'm going to build this building here, I'm going to do this and that. And it's like, you miss some of it in that sense, I think. So
what's your, like, for me now, I would say this, I think solo is the way I would like to play this the most right now. Like, I thought the solo was really good. I can feel that it can be very different depending on which specialization the bot will go for.
Yeah.
And I also feel it can be very different, like, depending on what strategy you use yourself. Like, if you, like, I built 3 buildings in the game I played today. If I only build like 1 building, that's going to change up the pacing. And also depending on how many buildings the opponent will be building. So I feel like I have more to discover. Like, I want to play more to discover the different.
I only played 1 solo game with the 2nd edition here, but I played maybe 10.
Oh yeah,
10 times something with the Garth, and it's basically the same.
Yeah.
And I think it was really fun because one of the good thing, maybe you don't do that as often when you're playing it, you're changing strategy, but the bot can actually change from a cowboy strategy to an engineer strategy or to building strategy, depending on whichever he has more workers on. So I think that's pretty fun also, because then you have to parry and you have to work on your tactics to change and adopt a little bit to that as well, which I think is good. One more thing I should change, one of the maybe not key things, but it's also a big change in terms of as a first player you always get 4 cards and you get 7 coins, right?
Oh yeah, that was new. I saw that.
So in the second player you get 8 coins and you get 5 cards, and then you get 1 more coin and 1 more card.
But you have to just go down to.
But that means also you're cycling your deck quicker. So that's because being first player can be really strong depending on the layout of the board. So I think it's a good that they boosted a little bit to make the.
I can imagine the competitive people liking that they get like some compensation for being 3rd or 4th or whatever.
Yeah, but you also have the bidding, right? On the competitive scene, they do bidding.
Oh, really?
On starting players. So you put basically first place, and then you put one of these starting contracts, and then you sort of bid your victory points.
Oh, that sounds boring.
No, it's pretty fun actually. But then you have to value, right? If you want to go, because
I don't play this game like that. Like, I can't imagine playing that game like that.
No, but the starting contracts, they are sort of one is more cowboy, one is more builder, one is more engineer, right? So you sort of get your strategy and how you want to play, but it can also be that you go first or last or whatever. So it's kind of fun.
For me, this is more like in the category of what we in Sweden call sällskapsspel, or like hanging out, playing, having fun together. Like for me, I can't. This is not one game. Like I can play Kingdom Builder competitively, but I can't imagine playing Great Western Trail competitively. That's weird too.
Yeah, no, I think it's fun to play it competitive too. But it's if you're playing with really really strong people, and it's super hard because they're so good strategies and I mean. I prefer playing it casually, like you said. I mean, but I can also play competitive, which is fun.
So let's get to some sort of. I call it a review in this, but I mean, basically, it's just. I mean, if you've been listening up to this point, you already know what we think about the game, so it's kind of pointless in a way. But like, I rated the first game 7.5 on Board Game Geek, and I rated this one 8, the second edition. I thought it was a little bit better. I think there's some details there. I know for you it's a 10, right?
Yeah,
it's 10. Yeah. For me, it's it's a solid top 50 game for me, basically.
No, I mean, this has been my top game, or my top 3 games the last 3 years since I played it the first time, or the first year I played it, and I think it was one of those games that is complete. Even before, I think the first edition I had no complaints, but now I think it's once you get used to everything of the new, it's still the great game. I mean, it's just the same great game. It's just that you're unused to iconography and some stuff right now. So
I mean, for me, it's just like basically bringing in the solo, like having solo in the box, having actual solo board and everything like that. That raises the rating for me, because that broadens the playability. Like, how often can I get to play it?
Yeah.
Of course, there's like fan-made modes and all that, but then maybe you need to print and play, and that's I can't really rate the game on that because that's separate in a way. Right?
Exactly, I agree.
And it might go up a little bit more for me as well if I play it more solo. Now, for me, I think it's I don't know. I think it's my favorite Alexander Pfister game. I mean, I like Maracaibo as well. I like Isle of Skye. I like Port Royal, but
I mean, comparing this to Port Royal is
it's totally different games. Yeah,
totally different games. I mean, for me, this is by far his best game. I think, even though I really like Maracaibo, but that's for me is a solo game. This is more of a more multiplayer game for me. This is okay. This is good as solo, but I think Maracaibo is not really good in multiplayer, but it's a fantastic solo game.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of times it's like a mix, right? So basically, if I were just giving this a solo review, I would probably raise it a little bit. But then if I gave it pure multiplayer review, I would lower it a little bit from an 8. So for me, it's like an 8 is like in the middle.
Yeah, but maybe that's a good score then for you. So,
and I think the sort of the second edition made it so that, like, if you had asked me like 2 months ago if I wanted to play it at a game night, I would probably be like, there's other games I'd rather play. But now I could imagine playing this with our gaming group someday.
Yeah, we need to try it out. I mean, it was so fun when we played it. It was not last week, but the week before.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still Sunday, right? So yeah, it was last week, and it was so fun getting it to the table again for the first time in 2 years. Basically since the pandemic started. And it was a blast playing it. I was like, oh, I miss this game.
Well, it's your favorite game, right? So
yeah,
that's why I wanted to bring you on here as well, because I know how much you like it, and I also think, I mean, I know Andreas, our friend, likes it as well, but I mean, you're the one that really champions this game all the time.
Yeah, I can play this anytime, any day.
You can play it in Chinese.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. Maybe the rule book is a tough thing to get through them, I guess.
That's true, yeah. And here's the new cows, by the way, the Simmental.
Yeah, exactly, Simmental, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's about it. Let's see, if you have any questions or so, you should ask them now, since we have a pro player in here now. You have a chance.
No pro player. But...
You can always ask Mats questions in the comment section as well afterwards.
Yeah. Or say that I'm not I've said something completely wrong. But
yeah. That's the best part. If you can find something that Mats has been incorrect about, we always like that.
See if there's anything else we missed. I mean, I like the upgrade on the artwork for the hazards. I think that's more clear, more.
Yeah. It kind of melts a little bit with the background.
Yeah. So the main concern I have with this, the coloring shift of the engineer and the builder. That's weird to me, but like I said, you're gonna get used to it soon anyway. So.
Oh, I must ask you, by the way, because you play this game way more than I have. Have you ever seen anyone take the bandit route?
Before, now it's supposed to be better right now, because on the upper level there was negative money before.
Oh yeah, that's
you had to pay money to take those. Now it's possible. Now you get money. So maybe it changed now that you're going to get that route, because usually I have never seen anyone, unless avoiding an obstacle, or not an obstacle, but a tax building.
Oh yeah.
Then you could go that way if there were no cowboys.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because I just thought about that when I was playing. It was like, why would you ever take that route? Like,
no, it's super weird. But I mean,
and also there are these, like, I think they're called hazard spots, where like you can build a building, but it might become dangerous to take that path.
Yeah, it's going to cost you money, but if you don't have any money, then it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just going to slow you down. But it can also be that you get that bonus action on those spaces. So you get, like, usually you get to discount or discard one cow, and then you get like a certificate or something. Or it can be some different bonuses, so you get extra money.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the days, at some point I have done that, built a building in one of those places, and then you're sitting around hoping there's not going to be a hazard showing up that someone's going to add there.
Yeah.
So that's another part of it, but
that's part of, like, when you're building your buildings, you want to keep hazards up as well, so people walk. It's cheaper for them to walk on your. But usually, I mean, coming down into the competitive mode, you usually pay the bank anyway. you don't want to pay other players money.
Oh yeah, that's
So
true.
try to avoid that as much as possible. So
yeah, well, great game. That's I guess the sum up here.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a solo playthrough coming on the channel of the second edition here. I'm gonna do that this week. So that's gonna be fun. Maybe at some point you'll do one as well. And
maybe.
You can share your pro strategies and all your.
No, I think I'm gonna stick to. I just make too many mistakes, right?
I don't know. I think.
No, but I think one thing I'm going to say, because we touched about it a little bit. So there's going to be another version of Great Western Trail.
Oh yeah, we have to mention that. That's
released
cool.
this summer. What I heard the last time. So that's going to be set in Argentina.
Do you know the name for it? Is it on BGG already?
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be called actually. Midwest Prairie.
I mean, I've seen a picture. Maybe it's in the forums. I've seen a picture of like the 3 boxes.
Yeah, it was in the box actually. You get like this pamphlet, and also I think there was someone posted it to me on some social media. Was it you? Maybe no, I don't know. But it was going to be released this summer. And that's where you instead of being in the US, you go into Argentina.
Yeah.
So basically using the same mechanics, but with a twist in a new setting, which is going to be cool. And the third game is going to be, which is going to be released 2023, is going to probably be in New Zealand, I think. See if it pops up there. No.
I don't think so. I don't think it's on here already.
No.
No, but I'm really curious to see what they're gonna do with it then. Like they have changed some stuff up, right? So it's a different game. So that's gonna be super interesting to see. And I think they have something here with the base idea, right, of the deck building and the rondelle, because this is basically a rondelle. It doesn't look like it, but it's a rondelle. So then, we'll see. I mean, I hope it's not just like, oh, there's 2 new actions. I hope it's really different, but has the same feel.
My guess would be that they do a different route, sort of, with different way to walk. Maybe some new elements, changing hazards to something different, or I don't know. But I think I'm really looking forward to see what they can do, because I do like the core mechanics in this game. I think the hand management, sort of semi-deck building with your cows, and also then the sort of how you build your buildings and how you try to place those on the game board to synergize really much. I think that's so many good things in this game that can be varied in a lot of ways, I think, in terms of the mechanics.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like a deck builder, but it is a deck, like it's a slow deck builder.
Yeah, it's a really slow. I would say more of a hand management, but you also you're building your deck with cows.
Yeah, it's really important to get the different colors in there so that you can. And I know I know some games I have really focused on the auxiliary action where you can thin out your deck, so you can get rid of. So I think I had at one point I had like only one of each color, or something like that. But I remember not winning that game. I think it was against Andreas and
I think it's too slow to do that.
It is, and I was focusing too much on it. Like you have to go back with your train in order to. So it messes up your train totally.
Yeah.
Oh well, we could I guess talk strategy and stuff, but I think we are going to end the Game of the Week stream for this week. Thank you so much to Mats.
No, thanks. It was great to talk about a great game. So
yeah, I look forward to playing this with you soon again. It's definitely one that I would like to, at least a few times. I don't know, sometimes a year. I would like to play this.
No, I agree. I mean, like I said, I could play it every day, every year of the week, probably, or every day of the week or the year. But I mean, like I said, it's depending on how you play it a little bit as well. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you to everyone who's been watching.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comment section if you have any questions or ideas. So what do you think about the game? What do you think about the second edition and so on? Let us know. And we'll be back next Sunday. And I can say already this time, I usually don't say it, but this time I can say that next Sunday, the game of the week will be Lost Ruins of Arnak. So,
wow.
Sadly, Mats won't be here then.
I will be watching instead then.
Oh, unless you want to join in as well. Who knows? You like that game as well. So
yeah,
we'll
I like that. So maybe so, yeah.
But I will have a segment there where I have an interview with the designers, Elven and Min, the designers of the game. So that's going to be really fun to talk to them as well and have
Cool.
that in the... So next week, Lost Ruins of Arnak. Thanks, Bernie, and everyone else who's been watching live and been in the chat. And have a great evening or morning, or whenever you're watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Jag blir väldigt förvånad när du bara kört igång där.
Där är det slut.
Sorry.
Man måste